out of the new book, the new edition, and I'm hoping it's going to look like this. So let's hope so. And it's a strawberry banana salad out of the new edition right here, medical medium, right here, new edition, revised and expanded. It's on Amazon if you guys wanted to take a look at it. So I'm going to make the strawberry banana salad. So this is a special recipe. It really is, because it's really healing. Because when you put a healing food like strawberries, healing food like bananas with greens, leafy greens, that's the key. It's the leafy greens. I've been saying that for years and years and years. And that's what's always been missing out of all the diet belief systems out there. It's always been the leafy greens. It's been missing in all the plant-based diets, and it's been missing in all the vegan diets, vegetarian diets. Sure, somebody will have lettuce here and there, but the leafy greens have always been missing. And Medical Medium Information has put the leafy greens into diet belief systems out there now. So now you'll see plant-based people all of a sudden start mentioning leafy greens. You'll see other people start mentioning leafy greens for the first time in health history. And it's that important. So it's been a lot of years of teaching. So decades of making sure people learn about leafy greens. And you guys are going to learn, because I'm going to talk about the power of these leafy greens, the mineral salts in the spinach. There's going to be some basil here too, and butter leaf lettuce. I got a red butter leaf lettuce is what I have. So that's going to be the red butter leaf lettuce for today. The recipe shows a green butter leaf lettuce, but you can use the red butter leaf. It's beautiful. You can use the green butter leaf. Here's spinach right here. Spinach is really a healing food. I mean, it really is. It's packed with trace minerals. It's packed with phytochemical compounds. These things are anti-aging, really healing. So I'll talk a little bit more in depth about what these foods do when it comes down to chronic illness like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, all kinds of different skin conditions, eczema, psoriasis. These foods matter. So when people are afraid of plant foods because they say they got like anti-nutrients in them or something like that, they're foods with anti-nutrients and stuff, it's really ridiculous. These are the foods that help us get better and help us heal. So anyway, you guys, so I'm making the strawberry banana salad. If you just got on here, that's what I'm going to try to make it look like right there. It's from the Medical Medium, new edition, revised and expanded. Link is in the description. Check this book out. It's packed. I'll talk about the book a little bit too as we go on. And I want to answer questions. Some health questions are fine. I'm going to talk about caffeine a little bit. Going to talk about chocolate a little bit today. I'm going to talk about fragrances. And we're going to go into that too. So lots to talk about. Great, you guys are coming on. Exciting day, right? Happy Valentine's. And so much to do. So I'm going to start making a recipe, and we're going to cover some cool stuff too. You pre-ordered the book. Yay. Amazing. Incredible. So I'm going to read comments, going to answer questions, like I said. How to heal Raynaud's. You know, I'm going to cover that in a little bit too, on that whole condition. I think we should talk about that a little bit later, so I'll do that. Yeah, let's make the recipe. Let's get started. We're going to answer questions. Cool. So first thing is the leafy greens. Let's get that going. And this is so easy too. Such an easy recipe. And that's one of the key things. It's like, make it as easy as possible. Make it as healing as possible. All that matters. Start with the leafy greens right here. So some spinach. So I'm going to put some nice spinach leaves. Now you can chop your greens up. I'm going to chop them up a little bit, kind of give them a little gentle chop is what I'm going to do. Just, a couple of them, but you can leave a lot of them whole. And that's, you can do either or. So I'm going to put some spinach in, probably cut a few pieces up too. So I got this beautiful spinach right here, getting it in the bowl. I'm going to take a few leaves, just give them a little chop too. You don't want them shredded. You want to keep them still, a decent size. This is a baby spinach, just letting you guys know. Now, different times of the year, there's going to be different kinds of spinach. There's going to be really big pieces, big leaves, roughly leaves of spinach that's out there. I'm just cutting a few pieces of the baby spinach, getting it in here. I'm going to put some butter leaf lettuce in here too. I'm going to put that in here. Now, you can do, I mean, look, if you don't have the spinach and if you don't have the butter leaf lettuce, you can do a mixed green. You can do, if it's all you got in there is you just got lettuce, then let's try that. But I want you guys to be able to do the recipe the way it's supposed to be someday. So I'm showing you. So that's the beautiful spinach I have in here, the baby spinach. I got the butter leaf lettuce in here too. I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to put a little bit more butter leaf. I'm going to put a little bit more spinach in here. So it's really good to be connected to your food like this too, because you really get connected with it. It's not just making a recipe. It's more than that. So I'm going to mix up these greens a little bit. So the spinach and the butter leaf, I'm just going to use my hands. I'm going to try to read some questions. Hi there. It's moringa. And then I saw something about spirulina. Moringa's not spirulina, and moringa's not as good as spirulina. And spirulina is not as good as the best spirulina. So don't get that confused too. For any spirulina questions, that's the spirulina that I use right there. That's the Vimergy, V as in Victor, Imergy, Vimergy.com. That's the spinach. The spirulina, talking about spinach and spirulina. That's the spirulina, that's the good one. Moringa is really not that, it's kind of overrated. It's not that helpful. When it comes down to fixing things and healing things, you really need to know what helps you heal. And there's so many trendy different things that like products that have been out over the years, but you can put as many trendy products as you want out there. And, something can be a buzz. Hey, moringa, neem oil, whatever you want to throw out there. But it doesn't mean that it fixes something. Like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? What kind of illness do you have? Is it eczema, psoriasis? Is it RA? Is it Hashimoto's? Is it fibro? Is it POTS? Is it depression? Is it anxiety? And so moringa can't remove toxic heavy metals from the brain to relieve your depression and anxiety, but spirulina can. The right kind of spirulina can. So it's like that. So I'm just mixing up some greens. I got some beautiful butter leaf. I got some spinach leaves right here. Put a few more in here, and then I'm going to start chopping up some strawberries and some bananas. That's what I'm going to do. Good to see everybody coming on. Can you add rocket? Yeah, you can. You can add rocket. If you got rocket kicking around your kitchen, that's a cool question. Could totally do that. That's all right. So I got this all set here. Leafy greens are not a vegetable. Just always keep that in mind. So it's not a vegetable. It's not like, hey, I'm having my vegetables. Nope, it's not a vegetable. It's a leafy green. It's separate. So you got the wild foods. You got the leafy greens. You got your fruits. Okay? You got your vegetables. You got your sea vegetables. So, but, so it's in, and then you got your herbs, of course. So I'm just reading some questions here. I find it have a lot of sugar, wondering if it's not healthy. So I'm not sure if, like, when it comes down to bananas and strawberries, that's not the wrong kind of sugar. So, high fructose corn syrup, that's a bad sugar. Table sugar, that's a bad sugar. And sugar isn't the problem when it comes down to sickness, when it comes down to having poor health or symptoms and conditions. It's the fats. So keep that in mind. So it's always the fat. So in chocolate cake, it's not the sugar that's the real scary part in chocolate cake. It's the fat. It's the butter. It's the oil. It's the lard. It's anything like that that's inside a chocolate cake. And so it's the fats in the chocolate cake that cause the damage, not the sugar. So then everybody gets scared and they're like, I'm not going to have a strawberry. I'm not going to have a banana. And we need sugar to survive. Without sugar, we die. So we can't think, we can't function, we can't walk, we can't exercise, we can't talk. And that's why, they even care about our sugar. That's why they even care about our sugar. Blood sugar is critical to stay alive. It's also why, how do you save a diabetic's life when they're on the floor somewhere in a store, and they're seizuring out, and they're just literally laying on a floor somewhere, and they look like they're drunk, and everybody's walking by them, and it's a diabetic. Well, you bring a little bit of orange juice with it over to them. They drink a little orange juice, and they're actually able to get off the floor and get home and hop into a car. Can't tell you how many times I've heard the story. I've heard it from doctors. I heard it from people who are diabetics. It's like all of a sudden they're flatline, they're on the floor somewhere in a grocery store, or they're out shopping and they're laying on a sidewalk and everybody's just walking by them and they're just like hunched over and no one knows what's going on. And all they needed was a sip of orange juice, sip of sugar to get them off the ground and save their life. So it's really not like people think. It's really how it works. What happens is we eat so much fat that we trap the sugar in our bloodstream, and then the sugar becomes a little bit of a problem then. But it's not the sugar in the end, it's the fat that's in our bloodstream. Then we get the insulin resistance, and then that insulin can't carry the sugar into the cells of the body because of all the fat. So you don't want to be afraid of a strawberry. When you take a look at this strawberry right here, and I got them right here. Look at these. So see the strawberries right here, you guys? That's a beautiful strawberry right here. So that is a healing food, an incredible healing food. Everybody's worried about how they look with aging. They're worried about wrinkles. They're worried about aging too fast. And they're worried about their skin. They're worried about their nails. They're worried about all of that. And if you don't want to age, you want those kinds of foods right here. So look at that, the strawberry. But you know what happens? We're taught to be afraid, and we're taught to be scared and have fear. And it's like fear about fruit, fear about bananas, fear about strawberries. That's what we're taught, and we're taught that every day. And it's sad. It's so sad. Anyway, I got my leafy greens here, butter leaf lettuce, spinach, leafy greens. That's the difference. And you know what? It kind of like sounds a little silly when I say it. Somebody might be like, oh, he's just, he's saying leafy greens, like we don't know what leafy greens are. Well, just so you know, no one talks about them. No one talked about them, okay? They're like foreign to the health scene for years. I can't tell you how many health gurus that contacted me for help, wanted advice, wanted information to heal their people or heal themselves. And the minute you mention leafy greens, you're like, what? Like what? Leafy greens? I mean, I'm talking about top doctors in the world that are health gurus that have books out. They're like, leafy greens? Like, what do you mean? And over the years, spinach is now you'll see it more and more and more. And it's from the medical medium information, the spinach soup, all about that. So yeah, and over the last 5 years now, but over the last 5 years, 6 years, because the medical medium books, you'll hear about leafy greens more and spinach and so forth. But I got salad going on here. Let's chop up some strawberries. So I got these beautiful strawberries. So I'm going to move this over for a second. You can cut the back off the strawberry, you guys. You can do that. You see the caps? You can keep them if you want. Okay? So I've been teaching about leafy greens for over 30 years. And 30 years ago, forget it. Like, what's a leafy green? Even 20 years ago, what's a leafy green? And even still today, even with all the teaching, the lectures I've done, how many people in the health scene reached out for help, reached out for answers for mystery illnesses all these years, talked to thousands and thousands of people. They still didn't know about leafy greens. It's weird. They would say, do you mean a salad? AW, are you talking about a salad? Like, yeah, a salad of iceberg lettuce? No. I'm talking about leafy greens. Anyway, cutting the backs off of these. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can save those. You can eat those, whatever you can do. You can throw them in your salad. I like to take them off on these, okay? So I'm chopping the little caps off the strawberries right here. You guys. Can you share what protocol someone with chronic Lyme? Okay, so in this book right here, so you might want to check it out on Amazon, okay? This is the Revised and Expanded. So you got to make sure it's the new edition, Revised and Expanded medical medium book. There's a Lyme disease chapter, and I broke the truth out there about Lyme disease, about the cause of Lyme disease and why people have neurological Lyme, and how things like cat's claw are critical and other tools. So, and I talk about it in here. So, and I'll give you a little rundown of Lyme disease, but you want to check out the Medical Medium Book 1, the new edition. That's the all-time information about Lyme disease. Lyme disease is not bacterial. So if that turns you off or gets you upset, don't let it, because science and research have now, because of medical medium information. In fact, a famous doctor just reached out to me recently and said that he's really happy that medical science took Lyme disease out of the bacteria category. So they don't believe it's bacteria anymore because of the millions of medical medium books that told the truth that it's viral. So millions of people took the book, the first edition, right? This is the second edition. They took the book into their doctor's offices and said, he says it's viral. And so because of that, it changed Lyme disease. So all these years later now, they removed Lyme disease out of bacterial, and now it's in autoimmune category, which means they don't know the cause of it. But autoimmune, the cause of autoimmune is viral. So just letting you know. So the first way to heal Lyme disease is to know what the cause is. What's causing my symptoms? What's causing my neurological symptoms that a doctor says is Lyme disease? And so viruses such as Epstein, Barr, and here's the funny thing, it's not funny but interesting, is that doctors they test for Epstein, Barr now with Lyme patients because of medical medium books, because I said that, hey, Lyme disease is caused by Epstein, Barr, and shingles, okay? And so what they do is they test for Epstein, Barr. Lyme patients, they get tested for that. So they're always getting a Lyme test and an Epstein, Barr test now. They're getting both at the same time because of medical medium books. So I'm cutting up these strawberries right here. Putting some nice strawberry pieces in the salad. You can cut them up as small as you want to cut them up. These are the sizes I'm cutting them up right here. So, putting some nice strawberry pieces on here. Strawberry banana salad is what I'm making, you guys. When you eat a food like this, when you eat a recipe like this, be mindful for what it's doing for you. Like, keep that in your consciousness, okay? Because when you respect the food that's actually healing you, a connection is made. That's really important to know. And hey, if you don't respect the food that's healing you and you don't care and you're just eating it or trying it out, it's still going to help heal you. But so I want to talk about why healing foods are so important for us. One thing is fragrances, okay? So fragrances that are made from chemical companies that saturate us every day. So when you go into the store, you get assaulted by fragrances. That's colognes, that's perfumes. And then we're taught by chemical companies to breathe it in, to like the smell, air fresheners, scented candles. So here's the thing. Everybody's so health-minded these days. Everybody's, like a health guru now. Everybody's like a health hack, or everybody's like into health. And you see that now. Everybody knows a little bit something about health, right? But at the same time, they seem to know a lot about health, or seem to know anything about health. They're lighting the candles. So they're doing all these things to help themselves. They're doing their avocado toast. They're doing their oatmeal with some raisins. They're taking care of themselves, right? They're doing their almond milk, even though that's not the best, but whatever. They're doing these things, and they're like, hey, I'm eating healthier, I'm working out, I'm exercising, and then they're burning scented candles. And they're going against, they're countering all the good stuff they're doing for themselves. They're countering it. So they might eat a good meal. They might stay away from processed foods and fried, greasy foods, but they're sucking in dangerous chemicals like scented candles, air fresheners, fabric softeners, conventional detergents, right? And they're just breathing it all in, and they're doing it at their homes, and they're sucking in all that chemical oil, and that toxic oil, those toxic chemicals are more damaging and more toxic than smoking. So Years ago, you guys, everybody would be smoking everywhere. You'd smoke in public. You'd smoke in the hospital. Okay? You can be a patient in the hospital years ago in the 80s, and you can smoke cigarettes while you're in bed. You can smoke cigarettes while you're in bed. Whether you're there for something going on, like, you had an anxiety attack and now you're in the hospital, or maybe you had a fever or something and you're in the hospital, you could just light up your cigarettes right there. 1985, 1987, I used to visit people who would ask me for help. They would say, can you visit my family member, AW? Can you go to the hospital and see a family member that's very ill, because we want to see if you have any answers. The doctor wants to talk to you and see if you have any answers. So I would go to the hospital, and you just walk in, or you walk by, you walk down the hallway, and in every room, everybody's smoking in their beds. And that, like 1987, 1989, 1990, just smoking in their beds in the hospital, right? You go into a restaurant, everybody's smoking in the restaurant, sucking down cigarettes everywhere. All that smoking is happening in the restaurant. I'm chopping up some strawberries right here. And so what happens is that with all that smoking going on, okay, with all that smoking going on everywhere in the past, they stopped it, right? It's banned. You can't smoke in a public place. You can't smoke in a hospital. You can't smoke in church. You could smoke in church. Right after prayer, boom, you could light up your cigarettes. Just be smoking right inside the church. But guess what, right? You can't anymore. No smoking. But guess what? That smoke was nothing compared to what you're breathing in now. Those cigarettes were a joke. They were a joke compared, and they still are now. Anybody smoking now, it's a joke compared to air fresheners. That's the killer, man. That's the killer no one's keeping tabs on. Those cigarettes are a joke compared to cologne. The cologne is the killer. Your man slaps on that cologne, your man slaps on all that cologne, he's killing you and you don't even know it. Take that stuff, toss it out. Tell your man that cologne's going. Because the cologne is ladled in chemical company toxins, like real serious ones. Aftershave, cologne, hair products, hairspray, scented candles, fabric softeners, air fresheners. Those are the killers right now. That's the assault on women and women's health and men's health. So, man, those cigarettes, they don't touch the destruction and the damage that all those fragrances are causing right now. They don't even touch it. But here's the sick part, right? Chemical companies want to make sure that you're trained in thinking these smells are good. You're trained to go, hey, I'm going to light the scented chemical candle, and ooh, what does it smell like? Christmas. What does it smell like? What does it smell like? A Christmas tree. What does it smell like? And the whole bit. And we're being trained to actually breathe all this stuff in. We're being trained to get poisoned. So, it's kind of funny. I see a lot of people that think they know a lot about health out there, okay? And I've seen that for years, right? I haven't been in this for 2 years or 5 years or 7 years. Been in this for over 35 years, right? And I've shaped health of what it's today. Like, I've shaped it all with the information from going all the way back. And so many of the tools are in medical medium tools are out there in the world, and people are using them. They're not citing it back. Some people do. But the bottom line is, with this is that there's information in these healing tools to help us battle these things like fragrances and other stuff. But people don't know about that stuff. They just don't even get it. I mean, there's so many people that are into yoga studios that are like burning incense that have chemicals in them. And it's like, hey, a friend of mine was at a yoga studio and said the smell was so strong, her eyes were burning. It's because a lot of the incense is not like natural. It's got chemicals in it. The fragrances are in there. So you want fragrance free wherever you go. You want to protect yourself. When you order new clothes, saturate it with all kinds of chemicals. And you got to think about children, and you got to think about babies. And if you got air fresheners in your house, pull them out of the wall, throw them out. so that your babies aren't breathing that in. Just that's how you do it. That's how you protect your families. And get rid of the scented candles because those are killers. Those are killers. And they're really, really rough on people. So we're being, Lorraine. Hey, Lorraine's there. We're being trained to be poison. We really are. And that's what's happening. And what's in these fragrances are toxic heavy metals. So that's another thing too. If you guys just got on there, I'm on a rant right here about fragrances, toxic heavy metals in fragrances, the poisons involved, how smoking is a joke compared to these toxic chemicals that we're breathing in every day. We're being trained to like the smell of perfume. We're being trained to breathe in cologne. It's everywhere. You walk into a grocery store, I mean, it's pumping with all kinds of cleaners. It's pumping with all kinds of cleaners that they're spraying, that they're mopping floors with, that are completely toxic. It's pumping with cologne, aftershave, perfume everywhere. Anyway, I'm making the strawberry banana salad. It's a way to counter all this stuff. So if you wonder why should I eat healthy? And another thing too is we should really say something out there. We should talk about it out there a little bit more. We should ask for the fragrance free. The more you ask, the more you talk about it, the more they stop. And because you don't want all that chemical soaking in your food, right? So I wash these strawberries really good because I noticed that when I got these strawberries, right, that they had a cologne smell going on the packages. Because of the store, it had a chemical smell / cologne smell / air freshener smell. And I had to wash these strawberries really good. I had to wash them good to actually get that off of them. And it's just unfair. It's what? It's you may as well just bring the cigarettes back, man. Just bring them back. Everybody just smoke. Just why not? Who cares? Because guess what? We're doing all the other stuff and it's killing us. So let's all just light up. Go into the grocery stores, light up. Everybody light up. And just why not? Hey, it's safer than all this stuff. I can tell you that. It's actually safer. But no, don't start smoking. Let's get some bananas chopped up. Anyway. Does that include organic perfumes, organic scented candles? Yes, because organic doesn't mean anything because the chemical fragrances get into those too. It's different if it's a candle that just has an essential oil in it. Maybe it just has essential oil and then beeswax. Essential oil and then maybe a soy wax, say, right? And it's just a little bit of that. But perfumes that even are organic are still ladled in chemical. They're still in there. That's the trick. That's a whole nother game too going on. So I got some bananas. So I'm just going to cut them in these nice pieces. You don't want them too small, but you don't want them too big. So I'm just cutting them right here. This is a really nice banana. Cigarettes are filled with chemicals, right? Yeah, they are. Okay. Scented candles. 100 times worse. I wouldn't even say, probably worse than even 100 times. Okay? It's an oil base. Scented candles have an oil base of a soup of dangerous chemicals synthetically made in a chemical factory that aren't tested. No one knows what the damage that it could be done on people in their lungs, their body, how it can promote cancer, be literally a trigger for cancer. So here we're worried about cancer. Everybody's worried about, women are worried about cancer, and they're being assaulted with all these chemicals 24/7, breathing them in, and their families and their children. And this is no joke. It's no joke, man. I'm cutting up these bananas in little pieces here. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to stack them and do it this way. Put some nice little banana pieces here. Carol, how do you wash strawberries? I put them in a big bowl of water, right? One bigger than this. You can use a smaller one, but I use a bowl like that, right? And I put a little bit of no fragrance soap, okay? A little bit of a natural, real natural, clean soap. You can use one you have that doesn't have fragrances in it, okay? Just a little drop, a couple drops. You just give it a good rinse. I'm going to put these banana pieces in. It's a lot better than what could be, you know, on the food from the store. Got my banana pieces in there. I'm going to put one more banana in here too. Martha says cologne smell, perfume, scented detergent, candles, air fresheners send me gagging and running out of the room. Rightfully so. Totally. Rightfully so. For real. Because it's that bad. Make sure all your products are fragrance free. That's important right there. Here's the other thing too. They have us, chemical companies, right? Have us so saturated with dangerous chemicals all the time that we don't know what we're smelling anymore. We don't know. If you're in a home or apartment or wherever you live, right? And wherever you are and you're there and you don't have all those fragrances and you don't smell all those smells, and then you walk into somebody's house and you smell everything. You smell their detergents, you smell their perfumes, you smell their colognes, you smell their scented candles or air fresheners, right? They won't even smell. They don't even know what they're smelling in there. Like, they have no idea it's that bad. And meanwhile, hey, it's one more step closer to cancer. Yeah, one more step closer to chronic illness. One more step closer to chronic fatigue syndrome. One step closer to depression. One step closer to anxiety. Those chemical compounds, those dangerous synthetic chemical compounds in those fragrances will set your anxiety freaking high. Send it high is what it's what it can do. That's what it can do. Okay. Am I just the? Do I just? I don't make the party fun, huh, you guys? All right, just mixing these up a little bit. Got some banana, got some strawberry in there. Look at that. I'm gonna put a little basil in here. That's what I think I'm gonna do. Get a little basil. Got some little basil right here. A couple of basil leaves. Basil, antibacterial, antiviral. Putting, you know, you want fragrance-free hair care products. It's another thing too to think about. I'm putting a few basil leaves on top here. Leaves, right? You can use lettuce in here because that's what I have. I have a butterleaf lettuce in there. So I have spinach, butterleaf lettuce. I got strawberries chopped up. The strawberry banana salad I'm making. Got the bananas. I got the little bit of basil here, you guys. Okay? Fresh basil is so great in anything, Ebb and Flow says. Absolutely. Basil is lovely, isn't it? It's amazing. So I'm going to make the strawberry banana dressing. It's an option. So if you guys want to know what we're talking about here, if you just got on here, that's the recipe I'm making, if you can take a look. All right, strawberry banana salad, there it is. It's in this book right here, Amazon.com. Check it out. It's there to order. It's the new edition, revised and expanded. I haven't even gone into what's in this book. It's so packed with information, 45 recipes I put in there. It's an incredible book. But we're just answering questions, talking about stuff. So I'm going to make the dressing. Let's do that. That's next. I got the blender right here. Okay. What's incredible about this book, you guys, right? Just letting you know. If you got anxiety, you got depression, you got chronic fatigue, you got fibromyalgia, got thyroid problems of any kind, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, Lyme disease, RA, rheumatoid arthritis, okay? Symptoms of menopause, ADHD, autism, if you're worried about candida, there's a candida chapter in here, shingles, whole thing about shingles in here, lupus, that's another thing too, PTSD, all that information is in here, but packed information. It's advanced. It's the whole thing about this book is the first edition has already saved millions of people's lives around the world. This is the second edition. I basically put a whole book inside this book. It is beyond a new edition. So I put information about the pandemic in here. So I'm making the recipe. So I'm going to make This is just my manuscript. I handed in to the publisher. This is not what your book's going to look like. See how it's not in a binder and everything? So this is just my copy. This is my manuscript right here. Just letting you know. So there's no confusion. So let's make, okay. So I'm going to put about a third of a cup of strawberries are going to go in here in this blender. So about a third of a cup. It's a few strawberries. Is it going to print? Yeah. Bernadette, totally. You can get it on Amazon right now. Get it to pre-order, okay? You can, lock down a copy now on Amazon.com. Barnes & Noble. It's another one too. So I'm making, okay. It's about a third of a cup. Probably even a little bit more there. I want to talk about chocolate a little bit too in a minute because I want to go into that a little bit. I want to talk about coffee too. There's one thing that people don't realize, that thousands and thousands and thousands of workers over the years have died picking coffee so everybody can have their cup and get jacked up on the coffee high. And it's kept on the down low. No one talks about it because the caffeine industry is so powerful that they don't let that secret out, right? I talk about that in the Medical Meeting podcast at Apple Podcast. Check out my chocolate, matcha tea, coffee episode on Medical Meeting podcast at Apple Podcast. And it's like, it's really disturbing how it works. When you're picking coffee all day long and you're sweating and you're rubbing on all of the leaves and you're rubbing on all the coffee and you're actually in the groves and you're getting covered with that toxin, something happens. And I talk all about it at Medical Meeting podcast at Apple Podcast and how many people have died all through the years and how serious that is. And also we can have some coffee so we can have, we can be jacked up in the morning so we can hide all our symptoms and issues that the medical industry doesn't want anybody to really know we have. And, and then that's how it works. So I'm going to put some banana in here. Doing about a third of a cup chopped banana. You don't have to do a lot. This is just the dressing. Lost a piece right there. Oh. Talk about chocolate in a minute too. It's interesting. There's no such thing as fair trade when it comes down to chocolate or sustainable. It's really sad when you see that market it like that because the farmers who are farming chocolate, cacao, they're penniless. They're in utter poverty. I mean, I'm talking starvation poverty. They make about $100 a year. So they sit there cutting cacao. They kill themselves getting it to market. They get ripped off. They get paid nothing. People in Africa. And what happens is that, we're talking they're in poverty and they get ripped off. So when their cacao is bought for them, purchased from them, so it can go into the market and then become like chocolate cake, chocolate candies, chocolate whatever, cacao nibs. What happens is that when that chocolate finally moves into the market, nobody knows what happened and where it came from, and everybody's ripped off. So all the farmers are ripped off. They're given pennies. They're starving. They get cheated, and they're sitting there sweating, killing themselves. Their families are trying to pick cacao off trees so they can get 1 penny for like 5 pods of cacao. 1 penny for like 50 pods of, 1 nickel for 50 pods of cacao, right? And so when you go in and you're buying your chocolate bar, you're getting your cacao nibs and you're throwing it on top of your smoothies, you're throwing it on top of your food and everything like that. And everybody's telling you it's plant medicine, it's good for you. And meanwhile, it's just getting you high and jacking you up on caffeine, which ages you fast and nobody realizes it. When you're being told all that, and you wouldn't believe the wake of a disaster that's occurring for the growers. I mean, it's so sad. It's devastating. It's like Armageddon. It's like literally the apocalypse. It's so bad. And they're intense and they're literally dying, some of them, intense. They get up, they try to pick more cacao for you and they're getting pennies. Some families only make $50 for a whole year of harvesting and killing themselves, getting cacao ready for the market. And when you think about that, then they say, oh, it's sustainable. This cacao is sustainable. This chocolate's sustainable. It's fair trade. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? That's just sick. It's actually demented. All right, let's make a dressing here. It's always something to talk about, you guys. Always something to talk about. So I got a little strainer here, so I'm going to just drop some lemon juice in here. So you could do like one teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. I'm going to try for 1 teaspoon in here to get it to spin. You do, and then I'm going to add a little bit of water too. So tablespoon of water, 1 to 3 tablespoons of water. Let's put a little bit of that in there. Gonna try to blend this up. Making the dressing for the salad. So here's the salad if you guys look. Dr. Fan, MD. Yeah, are cocaine leaves sustainable? That's a good question. Make the dressing. So I got a little ramekin here. So I like my dressing on the side. You can pour it on the salad if you like, but I like my dressing on the side, as I just spilled a little bit of it. So I wanted to show you guys, so I angled it your way. See? So that's the dressing right here. So I like the dressing. You see it in the front? Okay, that's cool. That's awesome right there. You can pour a little bit on the salad. You can pour it right over the salad. It's perfectly fine. What I do is I kind of like do that and I dip it into the dressing. That's the way I do it. But everybody's got their own, little thing that they do. So I want to talk. You guys got a couple more minutes about this. I want to talk about a little bit more about the things going out there with chocolate, the things going on with women's health, fragrances and stuff like that. This is the strawberry banana salad. Just made it. That's the butter leaf lettuce right there. Okay. You see that? Spinach. Okay. Spinach, trace mineral salts for the brain, neurotransmitters. So your neurotransmitters, they get dehydrated and they dry up. So here's what happens. Everybody's doing their caffeine, and you could do your caffeine. You could do your chocolate. I'm not picking on anybody here. I'm just telling you what's happening so you know. But when you're all cranked up on the caffeine, what it's doing is it's burning out your neurotransmitters. So those neurotransmitters are priceless. Those neurotransmitters are how you can think in the end, how you could keep your brain alive long when you're older, so you don't get Alzheimer's, you don't get dementia. And caffeine is a fast track to dementia. It's a fast track to Alzheimer's, because what the caffeine does is it cranks up your adrenals. Then your adrenals are pumping. And that adrenaline scorches all your neurotransmitters inside your brain. So your electrical impulses, they need those neurotransmitters. Your neurons need those neurotransmitters. Your glial cells need those neurotransmitters. And so what the caffeine does is it stimulates your adrenals. Your adrenals end up pumping in all that epinephrine. The epinephrine just starts to eat away at your neurotransmitters. And then you get that, like, you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s, and you're just like, what? And you just start forgetting, like, where's my car keys for the 50th time? Wait a minute, I don't think I could get my way home now. I think I'm lost in the car. Like, all that stuff starts happening. And no one ever said 20 years of coffee could cause this. No one ever said, all those years of chocolate, caffeine, coffee, tea, espresso is going to burn out my neurotransmitters. And then when you got the heavy metals in there, it's just worse, makes it worse. And no one ever tells women that the reason why they're getting the hair thinning is from the caffeine use. It's from the chocolate, cacao. It's from the coffee. It's from the espresso. It's from the tea, because women's adrenals have a hormone in that whole pocket of adrenaline in there. There's a special hormone that keeps hair on women's heads. It's different than men. Women's health and men's health, entirely two different things. entirely two different things. And no one thinks about that. No one knows about that. So it's like, okay, hey, let's make sure we do all the caffeine we want to do. But when your hair's thinning and falling out and you're getting all the patches and everything else, and your hair's thinning and it's falling out in your hands and it's on the shower floor, and no one's telling you it's from the 5 years of caffeine, the 7 years of caffeine, 20 years of caffeine, 2 years of caffeine. No one's telling you. And that's a whole nother thing all on its own. So it's one of the biggest contributors to women's hair thinning and hair loss is caffeine. Anyway, why am I even talking about all this? Because I want you to be able to counter it. Because I'm not going to be able to get you off your caffeine. I know that. I'm probably not going to be able to get you off of it. And some people, I'll get them off of it. But doesn't mean I'll be able to get you off of cacao. Doesn't mean I'll get you off of chocolate. I mean, what do I have to gain? Just eat it all you want, right? Like, what do I have to gain if you're jacked up on coffee every day and your adrenals are pumping and flooding and it's burning out your neurotransmitters? Like, why should I care? You could drink all the coffee you want, all the tea you want, all the espresso, all the chocolate you want, but I do care. That's the problem, I guess. I actually do care. So I want you to be able to counter it. Strawberry banana salad helps counter it because I may not be able to get you off your caffeine, but you can get the new edition. You can learn how to make the strawberry banana salad. And Donna Cuff says, what an eye-opener. Never heard this before. Thank you. Thank you for being here. That's why you're on the Medical Medium channel, because it's always advanced information. It's been like that for years and years and years. It's why doctors all around the world contact me and want information for their patients. It's why I'm well known to be the guy to have answers for bizarre symptoms. And that's how we do it. So, I put out the information. People take it, don't cite it back. I put out the information about how lemon water, 16 to 32 ounces, first thing in the morning, flushes your liver and flushes toxins out of your body. And no one knew that. They just thought lemon water was good for you. That was it. No one knew it flushed out your liver in the morning. But no one wants to cite that back. That's 30 years of hard work, but it doesn't matter. It's about you guys getting your healing. But you know what does matter? When information's not cited back, then someone can't find their way and figure out how to heal themselves from Lyme disease. No one can find their way to how to heal themselves from ME/CFS, lupus, RA, Hashimoto's. So I guess it does matter. So you guys, strawberry banana salad right here. So what happens if people don't cite it back? Then people don't know where to go to heal, and it keeps others from healing. And that's on those people, man. The people that won't cite it back. You want people to stay sick? It's not fair. Heavy metal detox smoothie. I just saw that. Yeah, you guys, if you're doing a heavy metal detox smoothie, don't just use any old spirulina, any old barley grass. I'll give you a couple of tips. You don't want to use barley grass. You're not going to get the metals out. So you want barley grass juice powder. That's the difference. Keep that in mind, okay? So that's the Vimergy barley grass juice powder. I'm not sponsored. I don't own the company. But the stuff's that good. It's what I take every day. So I had my heavy metal detox smoothie this morning. I used the Vimergy barley grass juice powder, sage juice powder. And that's the best one, Vimergy, V as in Victor, Imergy, Vimergy.com. But that's what here. The reason why I'm saying this is I saw the heavy metal detox smoothie, someone say something about it. And what people do is they use barley grass. Guess what? The metals don't come out. People don't get better because a mistake was made. The details matter. They matter. Same thing with spirulina. Like, not all spirulinas are equal. That's the one from Vimergy. That's the one that works in the heavy metal detox smoothie. Details matter, bottom line. Just letting you guys know. So anyway, when it comes down to taking care of yourself, okay, I was talking to this doctor the other day, and he said, Anthony, I can't get everybody off the coffee. I can't get everybody to stop eating chocolate. They think the chocolate's good for them because they're told that it's good for you, right? He says, I can't stop them, so what do? I said, counter it, man. You got to counter it. You can't stop people from hurting themselves because they've been brainwashed and they've been trained to hurt themselves. So you can't easily stop it, right? But maybe you can counter it is what you can do. So I told this doctor, look, get him on the strawberry banana salad. because that's what I'm going to make when I do the live. Get them on the foods to counter it. Get them on the strawberries. Get them on all that good stuff. And so it's important. You guys, we covered some fragrance talk about how dangerous it is, how it's assault to women's health, and how it declines women's health, ages them fast. So I know no one wants to age quick, men and women, right? You don't want to age. You don't want your skin getting all wrinkly fast. You don't want the hair to fall out. You don't want all the spots on the skin, right? You don't want all the spots on the skin, okay? You don't want that. You don't want your skin to get weak and then hang and get flabby, right? You don't want it getting loose, all the skin to get really loose. You don't want that collagen to get all eaten up, right? And then you lose all that, the elasticity falls apart and everything, okay? Well, I'm going to give you some tips, okay? The caffeine will age you fast. That's what will happen. And anything you do good for yourself, you're just working against it to try to counter it, okay? Keep that in mind. The fragrances will age you fast. Scented candles, air fresheners, colognes, perfumes, all that stuff will age you fast. And we got to counter it if you're going to still use that stuff, right? And chocolate will age you fast. But if you want to still do it, you got my support, 100%. I'll still give you answers. I'll still give you protocols. I'll still give you the 1,000 protocols that are in the Medical Medium book so you have answers to heal. I'll still give you all that to make sure you guys have the opportunity to heal and move forward. I still want to do all that. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that's a little fun today. I'm going to Instagram. I'm going to head over there. I'm going to make the strawberry banana salad again on Instagram. So you guys coming over? And I'm going to talk about some of this. I might talk about something else. Might answer a couple different questions. I love you guys. And I stand with you on your journey to heal. And I believe in you. Okay? And I'll see you over on IG. Yeah, these strawberries are organic. I was just reading the comments, you guys. And these strawberries are organic. What's a good collagen to use? None. What's a good collagen to use? No collagen. Because collagen's a scam. You can't eat collagen to create collagen. You can't eat a sheep's eyeball to fix your eyeball. If you got an eye problem, like you got like a retina problem, detached retina, if you got glaucoma, if you got anything like that, you can't eat a human eyeball to fix your eyeball. If you got a liver disease, you can't eat liver to fix your liver. See? You can't eat collagen to fix your collagen. That's the greatest scam going on right now. It's just throwing money away. If you want to get the collagen better, you do your celery juice, you learn how to eat these foods, you get the leafy greens to build your collagen. The leafy greens. I'm giving you guys the answers all the time, and you don't see me holding up a collagen. I can make a medical medium collagen, probably sell 1 billion of them. Be like, here's a medical medium collagen, but I won't do that because I'm not a snake. Because I just want you to heal, and I want you guys to be just free of pain, and I don't want you guys ripped off. Yeah. Just saw somebody asked about menopause, medical medium, new edition. Got a chapter on it, by the way. Check it out. I'm going to IG now. Love you guys. Take care.